All my friends are overdosing, all my favorite venues closing, and I can't win. One step forward, two steps back. Been a year, been I lost track, and I see no end.
All right, so here we are again, the Solo and Doc show, and I am Michael Lynch, and I am Solo.
I'm Dr. Kenneth Clark. I'm Doc.
And we have a couple guests with us today. This is Mr. Chi-Chi, and we have...
Dre Ramirez.
Ramirez. Eric, by the way, happens to be God's greatest mistake.
The Peanut Gallery. Mm-hmm. Boobs and a mouth. Boobs and a mouth.
Yeah, we're here, Solo and Doc, for another episode. Before, one of the things I wanted to add before we actually get started today is I don't know if we've done it. We've done a couple of episodes now, and I don't know if we've actually mentioned it, but what is the goal with this podcast? I mean, what are we actually shooting for? And Michael and I have talked about it, but I don't know if we've actually verbalized it. Everybody has a podcast these days, it seems, and in recovery, in the recovery world, there are a lot of podcasts as well. And one of the things that we really want to focus on in this podcast, a couple of things actually. I mean, yeah, we like to tell stories, right? We love to hear not just the, where addiction of any kind has taken us, but we also like to hear about the blessings of recovery. We talk about it. Michael and I talk about this all the time. We also want to emphasize in this podcast that, I mean, if you talk about diversity, addiction, I've heard it for 30 years, and addiction does not discriminate. Boy, walk into one of our meetings and you will see that addiction does not discriminate.
It is the most eclectic society anywhere.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And the fact, and one of the reasons that you and I got together and wanted to do this was just here, you and I mean, you could not put together two such different life stories. Our life stories, down to every single detail, are wildly different in every aspect. And somehow we come together to be a best of friends. How is that? Through our addiction and then through our recovery. Addiction brought us together. Our recovery keeps us together.
And that's the wildest part right there, I think, is that we literally grew up totally different experiences. But yet we are such close friends with such of the same ideas. That's the wild part of it to me, And we both gone from success to the bottoms to success again. And I like to focus on that too, is how do you become successful in whatever each of us deem, right?
And you and I have had this discussion numerous times, and I used to have this idea of what success looked like.
Same.
I did. I didn't speak it, but I had it in my mind, right?
Same.
Success is getting lots of education, making lots of money, publishing papers, whatever it is.
Mine was money and hoes.
Money, right? But we have these visions.
Yeah.
We do.
Big
like,
vision.
I am going to march on and achieve this success. And what I've realized in recovery, just that you've been clean a lot longer than I have, and you've been in recovery a lot longer than I have. But just in the shorter amount of time that I've been in recovery already, my definition of success has changed radically.
What is your definition of success?
Oh, it's freedom. It's contentment. Like contentment meaning, I think people often misunderstand. I used to misunderstand the word contentment. I would think contentment meant, this is okay, this is good. I'm good enough is what contentment meant.
Enough,
I don't feel that way anymore. Contentment means, do I have aspirations? Of course. Do I have goals? Do I want to make more money? Who doesn't? Who doesn't want to make more money?
No matter how much you have.
Yeah, right. No matter how much you have. Yes, I have all these things lined up, but contentment means until those things are achieved, or even if they're not achieved, I'm pretty fucking good right now.
That's right.
Okay.
I agree 100% with what you say, and I have a saying on what I believe success today for me is I do what I want, when I want, with who I want. And before, I didn't. I did not do what I want. I did what either the drugs told me to do, like fucking guards in jail, or my crazy brain, that I was enslaved to also. And when I want, I had to, show up to things I didn't want to show up, and I was always on someone else's time pretty much my whole life, or the addiction's time, and with who I want's the most special, and because it represents here we are, is I do not and will not spend any time with someone I don't want to anymore.
Yeah.
To me, that's freedom.
That's freedom.
That's freedom, because I think the most precious thing, I now actually do see it, the most precious and expensive thing is time.
Yeah.
And I'm very careful on who I spend my time with, and I love that it's taken a lot of work, a lot of consistency to get to a place where today I do whatever the fuck I want, whenever the fuck I want, with whoever the fuck I want, and it's okay, and that's my success. And I feel like if you do that, all those things that I used to view success, those come anyway. If you have integrity and you aren't in these toxic relationships that bring you down, and you're living in the moment right now and doing the best you can with each moment, enough of those moments, you end up accomplishing any goal you want. Yeah. Any goal you want, whatever that looks like. But it's funny because those goals are like the least valuable. Like I have all these outside things. I have a G-Wagon sitting outside right now.
Everybody loves it.
Least valuable thing in my life.
Yeah.
It's cool. I got a Harley. I got all these different things, and it's so funny. It's like came down to my dog and all my outside shit. Not even a fucking everything you could take. But more importantly, not one friendship would I give up. Yep. Not one fucking connection would I give up, and not one piece of freedom within me would I give up for outside things anymore. And that is exact opposite of how I've been my whole life,
You mentioned you wouldn't give up friendships.
Correct.
I've said this many times in the last couple of years, and people laugh when I say it, but I want to say, but I mean it. I'm from the state of Pennsylvania, as you know, great state of Pennsylvania, best fuck Philadelphia, Pittsburgh. I'm from Pennsylvania. I spent my whole life in Pennsylvania and New York, mostly, a little bit in Ohio, northeast part of the country. That's another story. We'll get to, that's another episode. Yeah. I'm from that climate. I'm from that culture. That's my home.
Totally different from how I was raised. Yeah.
So then I come out to Southern California for treatment, right? And to this day, 3.5 years later, I fucking hate California. I want to say this on camera. I hate the state. I do. I hate the temperature. I hate the relentless sun. I hate the culture. I hate all of it. I mean, this is not... Eric, you know what I'm talking about. I can't stand this place. I will never leave. No, but the truth is this. Over the last couple of years, I have the most important part of my entire life, my entire recovery, everything. I used to think I want to get clean. I want to stay clean so I can rebuild my career, so I can reaccumulate some wealth, so I can get the office again. So whatever it was, financial security, all these things. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with any of those things.
That's how I felt when I first came into recovery. I want to get it all back.
I want to get it all back.
Yeah.
And today, the only reason I stay in this godforsaken place is because of the friend. I'm not willing to leave my friends. Straight truth.
Same. So I'm only from Orange County, which is only one county down. Yeah. But LA to me is like a whole nother state that I never wanted to be in, ever. And anyone from Orange County, they will always say we are not crossing that orange curtain. And coming to LA, that's why I know it's God, because the last place in the United States that I would ever go to live would be Los Angeles. What it represented, I couldn't stand at the time. And but I found out that home is the people. It's actually not the location. And like we have the dopest tribe of people that are not, from LA or this or that. It's just our people that God has chosen to put in our lives. And God chose that we connect with each other. Because not everyone connects with each other, to that extent. But God chose that. And we have the dopest set of friends besides Eric over here.
Yeah. So here's Michael. You're talking about, I want to get into some of your past, okay? Because another thing I love talking about is these contrasts. Like This is how I used to think. Because look, you and I know this, and this is something I've discovered just in the last couple of years. There is a difference between being clean and actually being in recovery. What does recovery even mean?
Huge difference.
It's a huge difference. And I'm experiencing that right now. Why do we even use the word recovery? Recovery. I used to hate that word, recovery.
I love the word.
I mean, if you think, I love the word too, but I never really gave it a lot of thought, believe it or not, until I started a process of recovery.
Correct.
And then it dawned on me. I'm thinking, if your mother falls over and fractures her hip, she has it repaired.
Yeah.
She's laid on her back for a couple of weeks. She starts PT.
Yeah.
Occupational therapy, goes to maybe some transitional care,
That's what we're
something
doing
like
with our
that.
brains.
Exercise, exactly. And over the course of time, they recover from the injury.
Correct.
Right? You start injured, you start fucked up, whatever it is, and you recover. And
there's an
that is what
ED
we're
on the
doing.
end of it normally, not with us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Ours is an ongoing process. I have 18 years tomorrow.
Oh, I didn't know that.
18 years tomorrow.
Oh, you're taking a cake this week.
I wasn't doing that for fucking a hero cookie. My point is, if you stay around me long enough, you will know I have a lot of work to do still. Yeah. One would think.
I know.
If you practice, exactly. Everyone in this room knows.
Yeah, no, we all know.
One would think if you practice something for 18 years, you'd be pretty perfect, I think.
Yeah.
Not me.
No.
And it just shows how complexly sick I am in so many different parts of my life. Right. From all of them, from, what I think of me, what I think of you, what I think of the world, how I interact with it. There's so much, and I'm always working on some, it's funny. I'm always working on a specific part now that I'm trying to get better at,
Yeah.
Usually
And that's all. And that's the goal. I mean, I used to think the goal was I need to get off of this pipe.
Yeah.
So I can get some money
using.
back. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's such the smallest part.
And then the reason I think the reason I always failed miserably is because the recovery was never there. I never recovered from it. In other words, look, does anybody go to treatment? Has anyone on the planet gone to treatment for fun? Does anybody go to treatment on a fucking winning streak? Anybody, right? No. The only reason I go to treatment or a meeting or just even a therapist is because I got an issue. Right? I'm drinking too much, smoking too much, whatever it is, and it's causing problems, and I can't seem to slow this down, okay? At that point, yes, I have a problem with drinking. Yes, I have a problem with smoking too much crack, whatever it is we do. Yes, that is definitely easily identifiable. But all of that drug use comes with a lot of, and it's not, I wouldn't say collateral damage, significant damage. It affects our emotion, the way we respond to emotions. It affected my thinking. It affected my self-image was a big one. The way I look at myself, and like you said, the perspective I have on the rest of the world. Everything is affected by my addiction. Everything. So the idea that I'm going to go and spend 5 days in the detox center and get everything out, right? Every time I've ever left a detox, I am as physically clean as I'm ever going to be, right? Why am I fucked up 24 hours later? I went to detox to get clean. I got exactly what I wanted because the recovery piece wasn't there. My thinking is still fucked up. My perspectives are still very, very distorted. My self-image is still shit. My self-esteem is still in the toilet. All these things. None of the recovery has taken place. The first step has taken place.
That's it.
So then when I continue,
half of the first step.
Half of the first step.
Half of the first step. That actually truly accepting that when I manage my life, that it's unmanageable. That part, I think is the part that we don't get for a while. That we got to stop managing shit because our perspective is wrong.
Exactly. My perspective. My perspective on myself and on you and on everybody else is horribly warped and very, very cloudy. And it's not true, most of it.
Well, it's because I think all we're made up of is we're a series of memories that's happened in our life and our perspective of those memories. I think that's all we are. That's how we view ourselves, others, the world. And the problem with that is that our perspective is wrong on what happened in those memories. Yeah, right. And it isn't until we start shifting our perspective on, that's hence the fourth step, and we start to get some clarity on what really everything means, only then can we start to outwardly change, when we have to inwardly be changing our perspective on situations that happen, and then on situations that are going on around us currently, because we're bringing the traumatized little boy making adult decisions right now. It's so complex. Addiction is so complex. And it's a brain disorder, without a doubt. Yeah. And, you know, I'm very analytical. I think a lot. And you know, I'm always still tripping out on how it works and why do I think this way, and what is that attached to, and what does it mean? And I'm crazy.
Well, no, you're not crazy. You're an addict.
I'm an addict. That's all it is. Yeah.
You know, there's something to be said, and I don't say this to like justify anything that I've done in my life. There is the real addict. I'm not talking about the drug and alcohol enthusiast, right? I'm not talking about the person who likes to go out once a month and get some hookers and you know, and gets in trouble with his wife. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people that are in this room, all of us, who have done it again and again and again for a length of time, and no matter what the consequence was, we could not stop. We just could not. We reprioritize everything. That reprioritization does not change because I don't drink for 5 days. Okay? All the thinking is very patterned. Everything, it's patterned through, you know, you smoke crack and get drunk and shoot dope or whatever it is for 20 or 30 years. All of the experience that is associated with that state of mind doesn't just disappear. It persists. That is what I'm learning in my own recovery, is that I can change the way I look at people. I can change the way I look at myself. And it has nothing to do with like my physical appearance, just the way I feel about myself. But it actually does take more than just setting down the pipe.
Yeah, and even I would even say that it's even hard to have that shift where sometimes I can't actually change the way I view myself, and I cannot change the way I view others. I cannot even see a situation in the right perspective yet. But the one thing I can do is I can take a contrary action and treat the person opposite of what I want to treat them. Say something opposite of what I would normally say. Yeah. Deal with the situation opposite of how I want to deal with it. And enough times with the contrary action, I think that's when the thoughts catch up to my actions. Right. That at one time didn't make sense why I'm doing them. Yeah. Because my sponsor's telling me to. That's why.
Right. Real simply put, your brain is complex as fuck. I mean, you know, it's estimated to have anywhere from 300 to 500 billion neurons. Those are the transistors for any.
Eric has 2.
He has 2. Yeah. One of them's firing now. Hopefully the next one doesn't. The second one doesn't wake up. Yeah. I remember my step. All right. But you know, I've read various estimates, but the number of interconnections between those neurons, like neurons talk to one another, has been estimated as high as 10 trillion or 100 trillion. That is an incomprehensibly large number.
When I'm doing dope, do I fry those? Do they get fried?
It depends on the dope.
Okay.
You know, they definitely get dull. You know,
I feel like I got some dull ones up in there.
Well, yeah. I mean, it depends. Yeah, you can definitely kill neurons. Yeah.
All right.
But even so, I mean, I've drank away a lot more neurons than he was even born
I know.
with.
You did a lot of drugs and alcohol, and you're so smart. I wonder if you'd be like Elon Musk right now if your ass would have never fucking did any drugs, dog.
No. Oh, Jesus. So anyway, okay, good. We got plenty of time. No, but it's interesting because I went to treatment 19 times, you know this. And I went to just like a 5-day detox countless times. They know me very well at Mill Creek Community Hospital in Erie, Pennsylvania. I'm first name basis. I mean, fuck, they send me Christmas cards sometimes. I was in all the time. I was in all the time, and it was so routine. It was maddening. But always thinking, always believing that if I can just put down this blah, whatever it was I was addicted to the time, I was pretty indiscriminate, I'll be okay. And it never worked. I never actually gave recovery enough time and enough repetition, what you're talking about, Michael, enough consistency. Time and repetition is the game. I never gave it either of those. Yeah. So I never saw a change, and what would happen is a month later, I'm just as miserable, I'm just as hopeless, I'm just as like disappointed in myself, and I'm just as lonely because I haven't made any friends.
Yes.
And I get into this state of mind where I'm like, you know what, just fuck it. I just need to hit my plug up.
Yeah.
All this to say, though, because I want to talk about Michael today. I want to get into Michael. One of the things we discussed before we started this is, I still laugh. I love telling people, like, he's my boy. Michael and I, we're the best of friends, and we have zero in common.
That's what I tell everyone, too, about you.
Yeah. Zero.
People that are outside of our community, I'm always talking about you. I'm like, so check this out with this dude, this doctor.
Yeah. So I want to get into...
You know what's amazing is that we can even communicate.
Oh, yeah.
Because I still speak Ebonics, you know what I'm saying? and you got like $3 words and shit.
No. Yeah, well... So we wanted to take the first couple of episodes to just illustrate how wildly different Michael and I are in terms of the life experiences we've had, but how recovery brought us together in the closest way that I've ever known, and with other people. There are a handful of men and women in this community that I've never had such close friends in my life. How does that happen? None of us have the same backgrounds. And so one of the things we want to emphasize in this podcast is just the diversity, how addiction will draw all of us together. And
how inappropriate I am and how appropriate you are, pretty much. That's the layman's way of saying it.
Yeah. No, depends on the day.
If you know him, he's not.
So I wanted to start off by just talking about this idea of success, this idea of what is recovery actually doing. Yes, I think there's this idea that recovery equates with length of sobriety, length of clean time, right? And there's a truth to that, but it is far more important than that. It's far more, it goes way deeper than that. But since you talked about your ideas of success, you talked about the way perspectives have changed in recovery and that kind of stuff, I want to take a little time to go back in to talk about what old Michael, right?
The grimy grime.
Yeah. Because, again, my background was, electrical engineering at Purdue University, Carnegie Mellon University, which is top 5. Not that it means anything today.
I was in one of the top prisons.
Exactly.
I'm relating here. Relating. Yeah.
No, exactly. So here we are. I went to 2 top 5 engineering schools and a top 10 medical school.
I was in the number 1 top California Youth Authority and the top penitentiaries. See? We both fucking aspired and we succeeded.
This is what I'm saying. And here we are. Here we are speaking the same language.
Yeah.
Talking, shut up. Shut up, all right? Here we are speaking the same language, talking about success in the same way, okay? So everybody, heard about me last week, at least enough. I want to hear about you this week. I want the audience or anybody who's watching this, the 2 people who might watch this, I want them to know you've had 18 years of recovery and you've developed a lot. You've changed a lot of your perspective. I also, before I even go further, a couple of things Michael's very modest about, but I want everybody to know. Yes, you value friendships. Everything you said, I know this to be true about you. Michael Lynch is also the single most generous person I've ever met in my entire life. And I don't just mean financially. I mean with your time, with your heart. I have never in my life I've never in my life seen this kind of generosity, and it's ongoing.
Because none of it's mine. It's God's. I used to think everything was mine. And oddly enough, I hustled my ass off for every fucking dime that I would get. Even with robberies, I felt like those were earned. But it was always mine. Mine. So I held on to it, and it was the most valuable thing. But today I'm very clear on the truth. And the truth is that I'm a steward in everything, and I can prove it. This isn't me being humble. It's a fact. I came in, I had a huge life, felony fights, adults, all this different shit where I'm a multimillionaire, trashed it all to get out to be homeless out of the county jail from fighting a life sentence. I come into recovery, I give my life to God, and every single thing at that point that was given to me was because of recovery and His God. And I'm a steward over all of it. My dog, my daughter, any finances that come in, those are God's. And this is one thing that I've learned is that God at the beginning, it was very hard for me to pay bills. When I first got clean, because I heard that I'm not allowed to do crime. I didn't know that. And I was like, what does that have to do with staying clean? I just don't want to do drugs. And I kept telling Bruno, my sponsor, like, bro, I need to come up. I need to, sell some things or whatever, what I've always done. And he's like, yeah, well, there's spiritual consequences. I was like, bro, how the fuck do you go from no money to money, dude? And I'm like, the steps aren't going to work that way. A bag of money is not going to come out of the step.
Right.
And because I didn't have God. And the God piece, I've learned that, like, God will have me in charge of things that He wants me to in the increments that He knows He can trust me, because I was not trustworthy for a very long time. And when He knew if He gave me too soon, what I would do, I'll think they're mine again. Because that's what I always do. I always think something's fucking mine and I want to control it, and then I destroy it. Anything that's mine that I'm controlling, I destroy. All the relationships, same. Every relationship I have, they're God's relationships. And knowing that, I treat them differently. And I look at that with everything in my life is all of it is in fact God's, so what does God want me to do with this stuff? And He tells me all the time. Someone will ask me for something and I'll give it to them. He'll put, so many different people that need help out there, not just addicts, and we as a team try to help as many people that God direct us and with God's stuff, but that's what I think.
Well, it's interesting.
I did not think that way for a very long time.
Well, we're going to get to that. We're getting to that right now,
Yeah.
but I want to point out, I think that way too, and you taught me that. I had never heard that. I had never even considered anything like that until some of the discussions we had. The convicted felon Michael Lynch.
Educating a doctor.
Educating the doctor, right. No, and now I
There's
actually do.
irony.
No, I do see it.
Yeah.
I do. I'm like, you're right. I mean, I'm a steward of it. Even my time, I'm a steward
That's right. That's right. 100%. You should be dead. I should be dead or in prison for life. Yeah. So even the moments that I have are gifts from God for me to use as God wants me to. Do I do that 100% of the time? No. Right. I fall short all the time. But the great thing today is I get reminded. I get back on course and back on course. And sometimes I get a little squirrely, but I get back on course,
Okay, so stop there. Okay. Everything we just heard you say for last 25 minutes, okay? Let's move back 25 years. Michael Lynch is 25. Where were you when you were 25 years old?
I was in Corcoran Shoe, which is segregated housing unit at that time. Yeah.
And if Michael Lynch in Corcoran Shoe could give a 2-minute monologue like the one you just gave, what would it sound like?
Ooh. Life is to be taken, and the strong take that no one's going to help you, no one's going to save you. This concept of God is for weak people that need to have some thing that they pray to, when the goal or the game is to be stronger, and never let anyone hurt you more than you can hurt them. A very vengeful person. I had like my morals or values were so skewed, but I wasn't taught, like, I analyzed myself. I still do this. I look at how regular people are, you know, like your average person probably has a parent figure in their life that like teaches them stuff. I didn't have that. And so like all of my values came from the streets pretty much, and my experiences on what happened. And once again, my perspective on the experiences.
Perspectives, exactly.
And so for me, it was like my values were me first in everything.
Where'd you get your name, Solo?
When I was 13 years old, I was in a gang, very young. And my homeboys called me Solo because I was really young and I loved doing crazy shit. I didn't have like this thing that a lot of people have, that thing that goes, oh, too much. Oh, you should be afraid of that. Oh, that's a little crazy. I didn't have that button. It was like, I'm insane and I'll do anything to anyone. And my older homeboys, I would be doing all these crimes that nobody should be doing, but especially that young, dude. I was doing a lot of crazy crimes and stuff. And every kid that was also my homeboy that was my age, nobody would do it with me because they're all afraid. They're pussies. And me, I was down. So I'd go and do all these crimes by myself. And I loved it. I would get high. And then I would run around the streets and I'd do all these crimes. I'd be stealing cars. Back then, I didn't do armed robberies until I was 15. So at 13...
Oh, you waited till you were 15 to do armed robbery?
Residential armed robbery.
I just lost a little respect for you, Michael.
But then I was doing I was doing burglaries. I would well, actually, I can't say I wasn't, because I would jack like these weed dealers and stuff with my homeboys, but I didn't really look at that really as like anything, you know.
You loved the street rep you were getting, didn't you?
I did, and I looked at. I really back then. I wanted my older homeboys to love me, and I wanted them. I was always looking for in the gangs and all that stuff, and what I never had. You know, I wanted to be connected. I wanted people to love me, you know, and accept me, and so I was willing to do anything for that. And it took me to a lot of places that I can't be. I'm not one of those people that say I never thought I would go there. I looked forward to going to the penitentiary. I looked forward to it. I couldn't wait to go in there and run shit and be one of these guys. And, you know, and in my mind, I had this whole, you know, thing.
Oh, I can see this side of you. I can see that side of you. Running the fucking place.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I fucking loved it. And, yeah, you know, YA was crazy. YA was the craziest shit than any other place I've ever been to or will be, I'm sure. And I've been to the hardest penitentiaries, and YA was way worse. And that was scary, you know, I'll be honest, but no one ever knew that. I never even said until recovery the word, I'm afraid. I never said that. I think about even as a kid, I can't even remember saying that as a child. There's something wrong with that. You know what I mean? There's something wrong with that. But yeah, I was used by my older homeboys. I would go out and steal these cars and jack these things, and I'd bring them to them. They'd be like, oh, that a boy. Here's another dent puller, you know. And I realized later when I went to YA, I got out of YA, and all these older dudes that I looked up to. I got busted, right, one time. And I'm in there I'm going to YA for residential armed robberies, right? Home invasions. and my older two homeboys that I so looked up to, one of them snitches on me for another case, and the other one took real good care of my girlfriend while I'm busted.
Yeah, I bet he did.
Yeah. And you know what happened when I got out? Vengeance. And you know what was cool when I got out of YA? I told them all, guess who's the big dog now? Not you. And at that point, never. It was any of them bigger than me or like. My dog didn't like that. Chi-Chi.
Chi-Chi's a beast.
This is the big
He's
dog.
the big
He's
dog.
the big dog. He's about that life. Yeah. And now this is my life today. I got a little foo-foo Pomeranian.
It's crazy. No, I mean, look at the contrast.
You know what's crazy? I say this all the time. So he's a little rescue. My ego would have never allowed me to let people see me with a dog like this. Ever. All my dogs before, pit bulls, and it's got to be this gangster. And that's so crazy that I think you're going to think I'm weak because I have the pussiest dog in existence. The Pom is the pussiest dog. If anyone goes, okay, what's the pussiest dog anyone can think of? Pomeranian.
It is.
But I love this little dude so much.
But if you break it down,
So couple of things you mentioned that I want to point out, because we're talking about recovery. I think of recovery, and you do too. But for those of you who may not, recovery is about, it really, I hate to use this word, but it's often used and I'm going to use it, reprogramming. Like reprogramming the way we think, the way we perceive things, the way we respond to emotions, all that stuff. You get involved into a life, I can't imagine, like stealing a candy bar when I was like 10, much like taking pistols into a joint at the age of 15 is incomprehensible to me. That's movie shit,
It was
right?
so fun.
Yeah. No, it's fun, and you find it fun, right?
I found it fun as hell.
The thing of it is, especially people who start getting addicted to anything at a young age, those are typically, I think, the hardest brains to reprogram.
Well, if we have too much exposure when we shouldn't have, too young, it fucks you up.
Well, it's because your brain, I don't know, just throwing this out there, a lot of people know this, but, think about it. When a baby's born, incapable of doing anything, and then it learns to say basic words, walk around, cruise, walk, eventually take its shit without, when it, without making a mess.
Well, even before that I was reading how it's very important on the development of the brain on a child as soon as the baby's born to go into the mother's chest.
Absolutely.
And that's where it begins. Yeah. I never had that. So my mother was on drugs when I was born. I didn't even go on my mother. So it started there.
Perspective is formed throughout. Your brain actually continues to develop or program up until your early 20s now, they believe.
Well, I'm still waiting for mine to develop. So.
No, but imagine if you're living a life that involves crime, that involves chronic rejection, that involves abuse, sexual or physical, emotional, that involves neglect, no education, always having to hustle, breaking the law. Everything is take, self-protection.
Everything was fucked.
By the time you're 20 years old, that is your perspective. Drugs, crime.
But I think of how I am with women, like all of it. It's like, it's crazy, And like the toxic relationships is, I only would have people around me that were like me.
Yeah.
And it just and all we would do is re-traumatize each other, right, in this life. It's like crazy, Yeah. Like with the women, I think I'm helping them, but I was like hurting them,
right.
And it was insane, when I look back on it now. But at the time, that was normal. I looked at the rest of you people as lames that you guys, I used to say all the time, I'm like, dude, look at these weak-minded people just following what the government tells them to do and living these enslaved lives that they're enslaved to their bills, to their mortgage, to their wife. And I used to believe that. I would say, man, I'm never going to live like that. But really what it was is I didn't think I was capable. That's really what it came down to.
So let me ask you, how many years did you do in prison total?
Almost 15 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I've never, ever heard anybody, I haven't been to prison myself, been to jail a couple of times, very wimpy, not cut out for it, didn't like it. City, nope. Fuck's that supposed to mean? No, I didn't like it. No, but I have never in my life heard anyone, and I know a lot of people in my world today, a lot of them were incarcerated, right? I've never heard anybody tell me of a benefit of having been incarcerated, right? It's none of it. Nobody's ever come out and said, this was a really great thing that happened.
Back then, I would tell you so many benefits.
What were they?
Absolutely,
What were
I could.
they?
I would say that prison made me disciplined. It made my mind disciplined. It gave me structure that I could use in this world. It taught me that no matter what is going on, I will prevail. It taught me how to organize people that I even use today. It taught me how to hustle, how to build multiple companies in prisons, how to get people psychologically to believe what you want them to, and I
manipulate.
Correct.
You're a master manipulator. Michael Lynch. He's a master of many things, actually.
The difference between manipulation and inspiration is your motive. This is what I always say.
Yeah,
Today I'm always manipulating or inspiring people to not kill themselves, man.
No, I know.
You know, and it takes chess. It takes mental chess and know each individual and how they tick to get them to hear you and ultimately do what you want them to.
Okay, so you did pick up some things that are benefiting you even today, right? The structure,
Absolutely.
for sure. The
Absolutely.
discipline.
100%.
What was one thing that failed you that you picked up in prison?
Man.
That you look back and you say, boy,
Number
did I have
one.
that? Boy, did I have that wrong.
Number 1, years of my life.
Okay.
Number 2, how to have healthy relationships. There could not be more unhealthy relationships than in there.
Right.
God, there's so many.
I bet you left really happy, not angry. Were you angry when you left?
Prison?
Yeah.
I've been angry my whole life.
Yeah.
That's been the consistent since I was a little boy. The way all of my emotions always processed would be through anger. They would always end up. That's why you and I are a lot alike.
Yeah,
Because I saw me and you, and I saw how this switch happens with you.
Yeah.
That was me. You know, that switch. And
He's seen it too.
yeah. Anyone that
He
knows
sees
you has
it every
seen
day, actually. That's
Whenever
it's
he
always
just calls
directed
you
at
on the
him.
phone, yeah.
All I see is his name pop up on the phone, and I'm like, fuck this mother. You know, this fool.
That's right.
Yeah.
No, I just was always angry all the time, honestly. And if I wasn't angry, it's because I'm like getting a threesome with some girls and I'm high as hell, you know what I mean? And then later
Right.
I'm like angry at them for some reason.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know. My life was just a ball of resentments, you know?
Ball of resentments.
Yeah, for sure.
I bet you had loads of them when you left.
I
prison.
loved having them.
Yeah.
I loved having them.
I
didn't
have
wanna-
too.
Yeah.
I never minded resentments. I felt like empowered or something. It was almost intoxicating.
It's because we had never been free. And once we get freedom and we get those again, they don't fit anymore.
Right.
I hate resentments. Now they don't I am not at all the same person. Do I think I'm capable of the level of violence I was able to do? Sure. For the right thing. But I'm not capable of at all of like hurting innocent people anymore. I feel bad. Like I think like I don't even like thinking anymore bad on people, you know, that don't have it coming. That's fucking wild.
Right.
You know, it's just wild. I'm not at all the same person that I was back then, you know, at all.
Well, let me ask you this, Michael. And this is, of course, speculation, I guess. No, it's actually not. If you had just stopped using drugs and somehow managed to pull it off for 18 years.
I did that for 15 years.
Okay. And what happened?
I've never used while incarcerated.
Yeah.
I get busted, I kick on the floor, and I sell in there.
Yeah.
And my homeboys had told me, if you want to be a chief, not an Indian, don't use in there. That was one of the rules. And I never did. So that's why I would tell myself. But you know what? Nothing changed.
Nothing changed. Yeah.
It just shows my addiction has nothing to do with my use of drugs. That's one of the many things outside thing that I grasp onto to help me with the way I feel, you know, and there's so many other things, you know, that I do it with. I'll do it with, you know, from pussy to bubble gum. If I like it, I do too much of it and I use it to try to handle my emotions, you know, and it wasn't until I actually got into recovery, because I'm the perfect example that stopping using doesn't change you.
Right.
I never used 15 years. I came out worse every time. Every time that I came out of a penitentiary, every time I was worse. I was more sophisticated and I was more dangerous is what it was. And I shouldn't have been running around out here.
Right.
That's all it is.
Right. And I think this also, I just want to reemphasize something I mentioned in the beginning of the podcast, is that, you know, when we talk about, at least in this, right here at this table, when we're talking about addiction, we're talking about real addiction. We're not talking about, you know, a lot of people drink too much on the weekend. wife gets pissed off, kids are angry. The solution is to stop drinking on the weekend. Everything goes back to normal. Everybody's happy. There are people like that. That is not what Michael and I are talking about. That's not what Eric's talking about. That's not what Dre Ramirez is talking about. We're talking about the addiction that changes the way you perceive things. It changes the way we prioritize things. It changes everything. That is a different animal, and that demands recovery, does it not?
And it doesn't have to do the bottom line is the way I look at addiction from anything, because there's addictions to so many other things besides drugs and alcohol. It's, do I use these things despite negative consequences?
Right.
I can show you a whole lot of people in recovery that they call codependent, but that is one of the sickest addictions, is these relationships that they are using despite negative consequences. And they don't know how to stop. They can't stop, and they find themselves returning to the thing that they hate. And that's the definition. Do I use despite negative consequences? If I do, I'm addicted.
Yeah.
If there's enough of a consequence and I just go, whoop, I'm done.
Right.
Then I would be what the big book calls the heavy drinker or heavy user.
Moderate user.
That looks like the addict, but it's not the addict, because enough consequence happens. You're like, I'm cool.
Yeah.
See, I didn't have that. No matter what it is. I don't care if it's crime. I don't care any of it. Anything that I was obsessed on and compulsively doing, I would not stop, no matter what. And I still have that in me, you know?
I know you do.
Yeah, I know. Anyone that knows you, I'm still sick.
Michael goes for it. Doesn't matter what it is.
I know, but I have to at home. I'll be like, all right. Why? Because I'll see where I'm obsessing now, and I'll be like, dude, you got to stop. You know, like on, these different things that I start to obsess on. That'll never change.
Yeah, the consequence piece is something that I've really, or the way you just explained it, I really liked. But it's something I've really started to look at, just in just not in my own life, but in people around me. It really is true. I mean, there are, if you line up non-addicted people, right, and even people who love to get drunk or love to blow coke or whatever it is, they love doing it, and you line them up and you say, look, if you do this again, there is a really, really, really small chance your wife's going to leave you. They will say, not worth it.
That's right.
I love it, but it's not that important.
Correct.
If you take a guy like me.
You know what another one is? Dudes that see hookers.
What? Yeah.
Seriously. You sit there, there's an addiction, and you see it all the time. You got these guys that are like, they can't stop.
Yeah, right.
And despite the negative consequences, then you have the one that sees hookers, wife catches them, and he's like, dude, I'm about to get a divorce, and he stops.
That's right.
There's a difference between the addict and the non-addict. And that has nothing to do with drugs.
No. The addict will always negotiate.
Negotiate their terms of surrender.
Always.
Yep.
I will wiggle.
With myself.
I will find a way.
With myself.
If God descended from the heavens and said, you can have your family, or you can have a limitless supply of crack and all the fresh pipes you want.
Yeah.
But you can't have both. A non-addict would say, my family, are you nuts? A guy like me will at least have to think about it.
No, the addict will be like, no. The addict will say, that's not what God said. I think God mentioned them both because he wants you to do both.
Yeah, right. Or something, you know what I mean? It's
sure.
That's a whole different, that's a lot to unwind is what people don't. And that's why people in my life, my parents being at the top of the list, and other people like my nephew and my niece and family members and various friends, they get so confused by it.
They'll never understand.
You go to a treatment center for 30 days. How do you do this 24 hours later? How does this start again? Have you not seen the day? Have you not? No, I do. The problem, here's the problem is when I go into treatment, there's a couple of problems. I go into treatment, right? Like I said, nobody goes in a fucking winning streak.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Nobody. I go to treatment. Here's what my treatment looks like. I walk in the door. I'm unemployed. Okay, always. I'm unemployable. I'm fucking broke. I don't have a mailing address. I don't have a car. I don't have a driver's license. I'm on probation. I can go right down the list, right? I spend 30 days in a fucking treatment center. Good shit's going on. I mean, I love I work in treatment, right? I believe in treatment, but I would spend 30 days. I'd spend 5 days sleeping, just detoxing, go to some groups, have some fun, flirt with some women, eat, sleep, share some laughs, walk out the door just as unemployed, just as unemployable, just as broke, just as homeless. You know what I'm saying? Nothing has actually changed. And my mind is just as fucked up. The world looks at this. My parents look at this. You know, all my friends look at this and say, I don't understand. We understand. It's just nothing has actually changed. It is not the drug.
The problem is the addict thinks this recovery thing isn't for them, or that's not going to work for me. Right. You know, the cool thing, I think, like, I'll tell anyone, I can prove to you that it works, because let's look at some statistics of me. There's a whole lot of things that I should not be successful today.
Talk about your successes.
Statistically, I come from as broken a home as you can. Mother, father, drug addicts, dead. Grandparents take me on, fucking super religious trauma. You're going to hell if you don't, da 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 da. Always saying that I'm going to hell as a little child. Getting abused, died, they die. Then I'm in and out of foster care. I'm running from foster care. I'm scooped up by a gang really young, taught how to do crime, how to rob people, use women to make me money, all these different things. If you look at all of statistically, someone that's incarcerated as long as I have, statistically, it shouldn't be.
No way.
All of it, addiction, you name it, all the different pieces, I should not be successful. And I'm talking about outside. I should not have owned multiple, I'm a serial entrepreneur in this world. That shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
Here's another one. I have deep relationships with people. I think we understand, I hope that we understand, trauma is so complex, and trauma is actually one of the reasons why you cannot have such deep interpersonal relationships, because some of us get a little too broken and don't come back, right? Mm-hmm. That should be me, because I've had all of it.
Yeah.
Statistically, everything's against me.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
To keep returning to the shit that I've always been.
Right.
All of a sudden, 18 years. You know what's wild? I have not destroyed one company, and I've owned a bunch of them since I've been clean.
I know you have, yeah.
I pivot this time, and I decide to do something different.
Right.
That never happened. I should not have these relationships with these human beings that I have today that I trust. That shouldn't happen. Yeah. Not from my background. Right. I shouldn't be able to let people love me. I do. That shouldn't happen statistically. And I shouldn't think that God has my back, because you know what? For a lot of my life, I blame God for all of it. And who wouldn't? I was just a little boy. Yeah. Why did you get a good childhood and I didn't? What did I do? See, recovery did all that. Only recovery can change somebody's perspective so drastically. Only recovery can do it. There ain't nothing out there that can do it. Nothing. You go to church, it ain't happening. Not if you're one of us. Mm-hmm. You're not going to change so drastically. Only recovery can do that. It's a miracle program that must have been made by God. Mm-hmm. And I think of that every fucking day. It's crazy, dude. And because my perspective has changed, well, guess what? The outside shit changes. Yeah. Weird.
Is that it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you completely. Mm-hmm. It's the only thing everything that I've learned, any growth that I've had, and my change in perspective, my change in interests.
Correct.
Right?
Oh, that's a big one.
I mean, everything.
I have a life I wouldn't have wanted. Bruno says that all the time.
No, I mean,
I have a life I wouldn't even have wanted.
It's because of recovery, you know. And I never knock church. I go to church. I'm a Christian.
Yeah, I'm a Christian too.
My church has never helped with this.
Yeah.
Because it takes the fellowship, it takes guys, it takes one of us helping another.
That's right.
It takes, we speak a language that nobody else speaks.
That's right.
And we all understand it. Doesn't need explained. Okay, I want to touch on, so, you know, you have a history of, you've always been an entrepreneur. He's a hustler. Michael's a world-class everything. He's a world-class hustler, if nothing else. You know, you've done, you know, Felony Fights was massive. You've producing pornos, you know, just all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
What are you doing today? I want to say,
Business-wise?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
What does your life look like today? Okay, 25 years ago, you're running a prison, you're strategizing, you're manipulating, you're scheming, you're loaded with anger, loaded with resentment, hating the world, fuck everybody. What's Michael Lynch look like today?
Today I wake up at my house, and there's no chaos in there with my
nice
little
house,
dogs
too.
that I love a lot. I peacefully walk down my stairs, and my brain isn't attacking me. Talk to a sponsee, a guy that I'm helping, you know, and then got on Threads. You know, I have currently 176 addicts under my care. You know, and I take that responsibility serious.
Did you ever imagine?
Never.
Would you ever have
I would
imagined?
have
25 years ago,
I was too selfish. I never would have.
you'd be helping anyone, much less
Especially addicts.
couple of
Addicts,
hundred
addicts are the
junkies.
hardest person.
I know.
Fucking, there is no way. Like, there's not another person in this world that will resent you for trying to save their life. Only an addict. Only an addict.
That's a great point.
Dude,
I never
only
thought,
an addict.
Yeah, only an
and
addict.
they'll gossip about you, talk shit about you, fucking do every single thing they can
Trying
to
to
get
rescue
you to
them.
tell them, fuck off.
Yeah, right.
And see, I know
This is really directed at me.
that I couldn't stand Dre for years, and she didn't even know it.
That's a prime example of what he's talking about.
Yeah, her.
Oh, unbelievable.
But yeah, I would have never, because I didn't care about humans, because I felt like no one cared about me. And honestly, I don't help addicts. I don't help them because I want them to like me, to do anything for me. I help them because it's who I am today.
Yeah.
You know, and all the shit that I've been through, that I couldn't stand about my life, that I thought was so horrible that I would curse God for. It's so wild that I thank God for all of it, because I have an ability to be able to see so many different kinds of people. And I see why they're trying to sabotage, why they want me to say, fuck you, get the fuck out of here. And because of my life, I don't take it personal, because it's not personal. It has, even if you're talking about me, it's not personal. You're just trying to push away and have a reason to destroy your life. And people like me will see that. And I don't know, I love, there's nothing better. All you guys sitting in this room, every person sitting in this room, the producer, you, Dre, Eric, I watched all of you guys come in hopeless, broken, not wanting to live. Every single person in this room has transformed their life.
Of your help, you know what I mean? We're all products of like what you built, you know?
But it's wild to me that I get to see that day in and day out. I get to see, like, I have the coolest life, coolest fucking life. I think I have the best life anyone can have, because I get to, every single day, I get to see miracles, like miracle upon miracle of people changing their life. And it's like so crazy. And it's so crazy because my perspective before would have been so fucking selfish. I'd have been like, dude, because this is a 7-day a week.
I know it is.
All the time thing. My phone never shuts off.
Never.
Like, it
His
is
phone
always,
never stops.
always, because we're dealing with addicts, and I am so involved, you know, and I would have, before, I would have been like, there is no way I would do that, because you couldn't pay me enough. If this were a hustle, you couldn't pay me enough. My time's worth more than that, especially the mental fucking shit, you know what I mean, of dealing with the shit.
Yeah.
But it's like, I think that what a fucking honor that God says, you with all your fucking crazy shit that has happened to you, and especially all the shit that I've done to people, horrible shit. I've done horrible shit in this world. I owe the world. And God goes, all right, I'm going to take this broken ass person and I got a plan to help other broken people, and only you can do it. Yeah. What an honor.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Mm-hmm. I'm one of them. Yeah, this was a great segment. We're going to be moving forward aggressively. We have guests lined up. We're going to bring people in, and we want to emphasize diversity. We want to emphasize success. We're not going to just sit around talking shit, telling war stories, and like for shock value. We want to talk about success. We want to talk about recovery. We want to talk about what recovery means, and we want to show the diversity, how indiscriminate this really is, and I want to emphasize the most important part of my life today, including my recovery, is the community, the people in my life. We want to emphasize that as well. Right. So we're going to be launching this aggressively. We got a lot of people coming on. And in the meantime, if anybody, if you guys want to check us out, so we are at Solo and Doc on all social media platforms. You can find us on all social media platforms, Solo and Doc. Right on.